everybody, welcome to the Breakthrough Group Portraits class. Glenn covered a part of this last week, but I'm developing more on what he had said, so might as well get started. I'm going to be covering things like proportions, how to set up your face, how you want to draw it, things you should remember to help you get things right, and I'm also going to be giving some tricks and little tips that I do when I do my portraits. I'll probably show you a whip that I'm doing as well of a portrait that I've been doing. So let's get started. I'll be happy to answer any questions as well as we go along. Okay, proportions. Most things what you have to remember with portraits is that you start off simple. You always build up your shapes. I've got this fine gentleman, I don't know who on earth he is. He's someone I found on a royalty-free website. But when you start off doing a portrait, you do your circle. I'll just highlight it again here. If I go on the right layer, you do your circle around here, and then you put a line through the middle of the face, and then half the diameter again down to the chin. So if I just erase that, and I'll show you how exactly you do that. Let's get this nice little pencil brush that I've got. You do your circle, and then you do a line through the middle, and then you do another line about the length of the half of the diameter, or the radius as people call it, down to the chin, and then you curve that up to make your jawline. Okay, the next one is mapping out where your features go. The first one, you do it just under, just above a half of the length of that long line you've done. If you look between where the eyes are, between the eyes and the chin, halfway again is where your nose is going to rest. And the mouth place is halfway between the nose and the chin. One thing you have to remember as well is that when you have them smiling, it might go up a bit more. It's just a basic guideline, alright?
Some people have got big gob.
Big gob. Okay, you can still hear me. I don't know who it is, it's just someone I found on Google Images. The next thing is mapping out your eyes. Things to help you remember about the proportions of how you should place them. And I've provided a funny sort of diagram to help you. Your eyes, the width of the face, it has to be 5 eyes across. And there'll be an eye in the middle between the 2 eyes, so it's an eye between eyes. But this is going to help you because you're going to remember Mr. Creepy Dude now. Eye between eyes. Yeah, aye, Captain. And then your nose. You're going to have bogey green arrows here.
Just had to, didn't you?
I had to, yes. It's a way to help you remember because it's going to be so hilarious. And your tear ducts, when you measure the lines downwards, and that's roughly about how wide your nose is going to be. I presume you might have more of a bigger head, but this is all just guidelines. It's just, you don't have to follow these exactly, but these sort of things do help you along the way. And if that helps answer your question, Mimi. Okay. Mouth width. There's my stepdad opening his mouth really widely.
You'll catch flies.
Okay, the mouth width is roughly about the like in between where the iris and the pupil is. That's roughly about how wide a mouth should be to where the pupils are. Could be a little bit to more where the iris is, which is the colour part of your eyes, but that's roughly about how wide your mouth should be.
That was cross-eyed teacher that couldn't control his pupils.
And ears, if you want to draw ears, usually the top of your ear, like the very, very top edge, would be at the top of your eyebrow, but the bit where actually you see it connects more to the side of your face would be between where your eyes would be. I haven't even remarked that on my oh, there it is. It's eye height.
And you've got one ear bigger than the other.
Eye height to yeah, the side of the ear which connects to the part of the face is where the as high what yeah deformed.
They're not all the same.
It's not all the same. We're not all the same, but it's just as I said, it's guidelines.
Very, very boring world if we were all the same.
And the nose level is roughly about where the bottom of your ear is. Okay. And I also demonstrate this with another example. I can show you again. Because this all fits with this lady as well who I found. She's not very happy, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I think she needs to get Sketch Club.
Get something.
See, look, it fits like the circle and half a down again, like the radius down to her chin. That fits. It's all basic guidelines. Like half there. Ooh. Half again, roughly. I know her nose is a little bit higher, but as I said, it's all just rough basic guidelines. Half again. Even the eyes as well, roughly is the same. It is as well. Even Mr. Happy's eyes, I'll call him Mr. Happy. The nose as well, tear ducts down to the nostrils. The iris down to the sides of her mouth. Probably change a little bit if she decides to smile.
Yeah, it looks like she's crying.
Yeah, she looks like she's crying. And ears, well, ears and that will be slightly different with her, but you can't really see them. If it's a female, then you might just have them covered up with hair. That's what is quite helpful. Alright, things to remember. These, as I said, what I have just showed you is basic guidelines. But say if you're doing a portrait with a different angle, I'm basically going to mainly focus on front-facing portraits rather than having different angles. But if you did have a different angle of a face, if say someone's looking down like this creepy lady, then proportions would be different. Like the ears would be higher how she's facing downwards.
Got more face to wash.
More face to wash. And it would also say if she was looking up with her chin towards you, she'd also have her ears down her face more. It would all just change, foreshortening, I think that's the word for it. Right, am I going too fast? Is everybody following so far? If you want, I'll even upload these slides so you can remember. Okay. Another thing to help you remember, when you are drawing different genders, whether you're drawing a male or female subject, things that you have to remember is that the shape of the jaw, the shape of the head, everybody has different shapes, sort of faces, but men and women tend to have different characteristics. Let's see whether you can guess what gender is for which face. So here's a little pop quiz for you guys. Let's see whether you can.
One had a flathead.
Flathead. Yes, you are all correct. Let me get my answers up. This is a way to help you remember. When you are drawing females, naturally women are more curvier in all respects. That even includes their faces. They're more feminine features means more rounder features, whereas men, they like to have their jaws all square.
Unless it's a nice boy.
Nice boy. But yes, left is female, right is male. Moving on, is there any other questions before I move on? You all passed with flying colours, with cupcakes for everybody.
What about me?
You get cupcakes too. Okay, I'll move on if there is no other questions. Let's move these. To help you visualise as well the structure of your face, or when you're about to say do some shading, you have to remember that under the skin you've got your skull, obviously. So you're going to have things like cheekbones and jawbones, and people sometimes have more cheekbones that are more protruding, or say if they've got bags under their eyes as well, it's going to be showing all hollow around the eyes. It'll be darker around there. Also, the muscles. If you think about the muscles as well, that will help you with any wrinkles. Say if your subject is aging at all or not. So, say if I'll draw examples over Mr. Old Boney here. Make him look like as if he's wrinkly. Ooh. I'm just gonna just sketch here, for example. Excuse me.
Hello, Boney.
Oh, Boney. We'll call him Mr. Old Boney, or Barney Boney. See. Just only sketched a bit, but you get the idea. Okay, other things to remember. Because obviously everybody is individual, there are different kinds of ways to draw faces and have their own uniqueness to make you character, I think is the words for it. Everyone, both men and women, have different shape features. Even though women have more curved features and men have more square, harder features, there are different shaped faces for everyone. Here are some examples for both men and women. There are repeated ones here, but I wanted to show different variations of face shapes for different genders. Even eyes and noses, there are different shapes. See, for your character, for both men and women, or the person you're trying to draw.
Noses may be broken. Eyes may have cuts.
Yes, exactly what my stepdad just said as well. Eyes, well, my eye, for example, I've got a little black fleck in it, for example. So people might even have little blemishes. Eyes have all different kinds of shapes. They have different colours as well to give more originality. Some of them even have little. I think Red Willow, she did an amazing eye class as well, called them eye scars. And like I've got a little black fleck in mine, for example.
It's like a fingerprint, isn't it? It's unique to the person.
Exactly, it's unique. And noses as well. You've got individual noses. Say if you was drawing a boxer and he got punched on the nose and had it broken, that will all give it different kinds of shapes. Lots of things to help you remember about how to make your character look more unique. Because people tend to draw their subjects, like their portraits, as say what they would see themselves as rather than what they're actually seeing.
Example, Alan Rickman.
Yeah, example, Alan Rickman, like, as you've seen if I go up to the top here, he's got a very prominent nose, for example. Very thin lips, well, very thin top lip. Very baggy sort of eyes. I think you've got to think about that as well with age. But yeah, poor Alan Rickman. And here's all the different kinds of shapes and mouths as well that you got to think about to help give you more character and more individuality to your subject. So yes. Alright. Well, let's get on to trying to do some actual portrait drawing. I'll show you guys a example that I'm doing at the moment. You're going to see my gallery. Yes, Botox. Yeah, people who you got more originality with their lips as well. If they have Botox, they have the duck selfies. Whack. And rhinoplasty and things like that.
Film stars with their face card move when they talk.
Okay, as you can see, if I go onto here, if I put the layer up, this is what I've been working on. This is a request that I had got from Haruka Chan, who's a sketch club member here. My stepdad's being a comedian here. Right, this is meant to be a request for Haruka Chan. She wanted me to draw her persona. So this is, and she gave me a picture of her anime to try and draw something from. So I showed her those examples of all the different features and trying to put it all together. But as you can see here, if I take this off, you've got the half, and half again. If I put that through, just I'll show you example here as well. If I select around the radius, copy, paste it in, you can see roughly that that's a way for you to help try and map out your chin. As I said, yeah, you've got the general sort of half, half and half again, and different kind of shaped eyes. If I get the reference that I have for Haruka, she picked out those features. So yeah, copy and paste, and that's a way how you can actually get your chin across. If you select around the radius and then paste it in on another layer and then move it down the face, you can then help make your shape, like the length of your face, fine. So let's get on to doing some shading. Little tips I like to do. I'm not sure whether this is I think this is a preset brush, but that is one of my favourite brushes that I use to do skin tones. It says it's called Dust. There's another one here. I'm not sure whether that was in the community or not. I think that might be under textures. It's another custom brush that was made. I'll have to try and find it. I'll put that into the breakthrough group if people want to have these particular brushes. Let's try and do more of this eye. I'll give you tips of what brushes I use for certain things, and just dabbing on. Colour picking. I'm not good at making my own skin tones, unless if say I'm doing something in black and white. So I always advise, if you're struggling like me to do something with making skin tones, try and get a high quality image from Google to help you to colour pick. You push and hold on the reference picture and just picking out the highlights and the shadows to work from. If you think about skin, Mimi, that it's not, if you look at it very up close, you can see how it's all mottly, where you see the skin cells. If you use that brushes, it'll help bring out that effect. If you guys have any other questions, then just shout them out and then I'll do my best to answer them. I'm going to make this girl, Haruka, I'm going to give her quite high sort of cheekbones. So I'm...
iPad 4, I think, haven't we?
Yeah, I have an iPad 4. And I'm also using a Donut Jot Touch. Yeah, Jot Touch for stylus. Mine probably need charging soon as well.
Put it somewhere safe, I thought I might put it.
Look in the freezer.
Look in the freezer. Well, I'm on the beta, so it might be slightly different to you. Because she has high cheekbones in what I imagine her, so I'm going to highlight all around her
You do
where her
each
cheek
eye
is.
individual. Each eye's different, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. What people kind of get misconceptions as that a face is dead symmetrical. It's not. Some people might have an eye that's a slightly higher, or one part that's slightly drooping down a bit. You can always um stepdad's imagining saying about
No.
monobrow, I think.
they're further apart. Eyes
Further
can be
apart,
further
yeah.
apart.
But you can copy and paste in the features if you want to have easiness, but you can
Doing
just
ghost noises,
just-
I'll get the broom.
you can like change them around a bit so that it's not dead symmetrical. But I do understand that there are actually some kinds of I think theories. I think the word is that people with more symmetrical faces are deemed more beautiful, but not all faces are exactly symmetrical. But I do draw each eye individually, as you can see here. I also did one eye so that I can just show you how I do the other eye. So let's move on to doing the actual colour part. If I go on a layer above, I'll make a new layer. I like doing this. Let me switch back. I'll go on to on mode because I love this. At least I can then try and draw more on what is on this level, on this highlighting bit. Another brush I like using for actually doing eyes is this one. I think this is another preset. It's called Potato.
Potato!
It's Potato.
Potato!
Yes, Potato.
Potato!
I'll pick out the highlights and I'll just dab on. People always as well, I think, try and draw eyes that are like exactly oval, but they're not that shape. As I was showing you before, I can bring a reference up because I've got quite a few here. Here's one. They're not. They're more like almond shapes, and they're curved.
Aye,
And
aye.
aye, yes. So, and as well, you don't have like a dead perfect circle for your iris. It's always slightly bigger than what the shape is because of your. It's covered by your eyelids. Let's get back into here. Chip.
Chips.
Mm.
And every chip. Oh, it's chips. Chips.
Picking out all the darker shades. Just dab it on now. Ring around the iris, so that's another thing to do. Darkish sort of. Most eyes have like a. The white part, I forget what the name of the white part of your eye is called. It's not exactly white. If any of you have actually seen Red Willow's amazing eye class she did, then she says the same thing there. Eyes aren't a perfect white. They're slightly off-white, sort of creamy sort of colour.
This person's unwell, they could be quite a bit different.
Yeah, it depends really, but...
Angry people tend to have bloodshot eyes.
Just
Or distressed.
remember where your lights are coming from as well. From the eye to help give it a realistic sort of look. Well, if you see on right, make sure you put in some white reflections in it, because eyes are shiny. They're not like flat and boring. Colour variations are in eyes. Just think about how much different. Perfect white eyes would be scary, or completely jet black ones.
These people that dye tattoo their eyes, I think that's horrible.
Oh, I'd love to get my eyes dyed black.
No,
that's horrible.
is. I've seen people with those red contact lenses as well. Okay, but you just can't help but look at that. Those are kind of freaking. Make sure
Your
darks.
eyes?
Sure you put in your lights.
So black.
Yeah. Couldn't get any blacker.
Let me merge that down to that layer because it will stay on there. Make another on layer above it again. For the pupil, I usually use vector. If you remember Goth Dad, his classes, or anybody else that loves vector like I do, just draw your shape in. Where you start is where you finish. Gives a nice clean edge. I'm going to put in a little bit more colour variations because there's so many amazing colours. That's why people probably say, oh, see all the stars in your eyes and the ocean and things, because there's so many different colours.
Your eyes are like stars. Come out at night. Your lips are like petals, yes, bicycle petals.
If I get the soft round brush, and I'll put the opacity down a little bit, mind the chat box a bit.
Your ears are
There we
like
go.
flowers, yeah, cauliflowers.
My eyes are demonic, like me.
I'll colour pick, I'll get the white for the shine. You see, you probably get little reflections as well of what you're having. What your character is seeing. I thought you didn't want to be heard. I didn't think you wanted.
Oh, there's an elephant.
There's an elephant in the room. Melody says you both are hilarious.
You want to see me on a good day?
Let's put in the amazing, like the reflections in the same sort of places.
Helium.
Oh jeez, yeah, should hear us on helium.
Wait,
Tenshi and
back to
BP
work.
have heard that, but yes, I am working.
Right.
Just dab, 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 dab the reflections, just to give it. Oops, a bit too far over that one. That little bit of shine. Undo button is my friend.
There's a lot of people watching.
Okay, eyelashes. Another Red Willow tip. I don't know whether it's still on her page or not, but she has an amazing pen brush, but I tend to use a mixture of the smooth tool and pen. I've kicked the opacity down to about halfway, and I've got it on 0.5 at the moment, but I tend to have that maybe at 1. And I use those for eyelashes. Let me just go to my eyelash layer. I put it on all separate layers. I build it up. I do like the white part first, and then I build up with the iris on a non-layer and then merge it down, and then I'll put the eyelashes on another layer on top of that. If you look you get little sparse few ones that near the tear ducts. I'm not sure what the pen is called.
Pen name again.
Well, I'm using the smooth tool at the moment, but I use a few
Can
just
you say
down.
that?
A mixture of this smooth and there's another pen tool that I think is probably still on Red Willow's page, and it's lashes. How to get hold of that again? So if it's still there, if not, I have to go and see on her page. You can download it from there. I'm not sure on her gallery. I'll ask her. Just keep a bit more. The opacity up just a little.
You try restart audio. There you go.
Aha! Thank you, Mimi. Just spread them all out. You have the ones off at the side here. Butterfly kisses. Right, the bottom eyelash, or eyelid, the set of eyelashes. People tend to try and put eyelashes right on the edge of where the eyes are. No, never put it back there, because you do have a little gap between the eyes and where the eyelashes are. Because if you think about it logically, eyelashes are there to help you not get any dust or anything into your eyes. So you remember having that little bit of a gap, but they're only few and far between, little clumps together. They get more few and far between near the tear duct, between more sparse. If you feel that they're a bit too strong, it's just erase the edge a bit.
Yeah, pass that popcorn round.
Right, we'll put some, just to put at the end, you can always like give it a bit more emphasis. I'm going to she's just with the pen tool. I'll just make them pop just make the top left a bit more pop. Pop. There's a bit.
That wasn't me.
What's a bee in the room?
Because it was quite as good.
Lucky little bumblebee.
There we go. Put a bit more just on the bottom ones. Is there any other questions for you guys? Just remember when you're making your faces. I know people actually struggle doing noses, so I'll show you roughly how I did this using this reference. If I go on a nice new layer above everything, I usually build my noses from circles. One circle here, one circle here, and one circle here. And then I just make a little arch between them. If I just hide that layer there. And then I'll try and give a little outline here, just faint enough so I know where my shading's going to go. 42, of course it is.
What's the question?
Yeah, what's the question though? What is your name? What is your
Quite
quest?
spooky when you've taken the face off.
Yeah, it's kind of spooky now, isn't it? It's kind of eerie. That's roughly how I did do my noses. People do find noses quite difficult. They do vary a lot, but that's how I do just a standard nose. Just make sure as well that you do have a little bit of the nostril that comes around the side here, so you can actually give it a bit of highlight. Let me just put these layers back up. Get a light colour and my skin brush and just put a little highlight underneath there. Just remember where your light source is coming from. Remember basic fundamentals as we covered before. If you feel it, just colour pick even what you have on your... It's a bit too strong canvas. Eyebrows, another thing that people tend to get wrong. We go on to the eyelash layer. Same as eyelashes before as well. I tend to use smooth tool or the lashes pen tool, but most often not it's smooth for me. Let me get the reference up that I have for Haruka. These are the anime that she provided me. Aren't they cute? I'm not confident with doing angles either, but I'll be studying them at some point, and I'll probably share what I learn with everybody else if you do want me to teach again. Right, let's do this side for eyebrows. They're not a thick line eyebrows of different little hairs, so obviously it's all made of different. You do a few little sparse ones just sticking up, and then they thicker and together more. They start getting a bit more as they go up around. The eyebrows will have to go a little bit over the length of what the eyebrows are, like the eyes I mean, because if you think about it, eyebrows are meant to help also protect the eyes. Say if
Sweat rolling down
exactly,
your forehead.
I was about to say that if say for example, while Mr. Happy Man decides to go to the gym and he perspires a lot, he's gonna into his eyes. He's gonna have sweat rolling down his eyes. Just as you get to the end of where the eyebrow is, it goes a little bit more sparse.
Or some people got two giant caterpillars that join in the middle.
It might cause a little lag, depending on what your device is. So, if you've got a iPad 2, then it might struggle a little bit. But say if you've got an iPad Air 2, maybe it would struggle as much. Wouldn't. Her eyebrows are a little bit too low, so I'm going to just erase a little bit around the edge there. There we go.
Do a bit of threading.
Yeah, I'm just threading her eyebrows a bit. And also, her eyebrows are a little bit, just like hair. Another thing that people tend to get wrong is hair is not just one single colour, it's a multitude of different like highlights, lowlights, it's lots of different shades. So if I just darken that down a little bit, I'll just in my colour. That's one thing people probably find annoying. Put a few more in when I stream of a darker colour. When I do my classes, it's my first class really, but I tend to go over the details very meticulously. I'm kind of a perfectionist. Eyebrows going a bit too low there. Oops. Oops, wrong one. Okay, maybe I'll but even yeah, well either that or she'll have a monobrow like Frida Kahlo. Yeah, that was more of a critique, but reference up again. I always, if you're ever struggle doing a portrait that from imagination and you're not quite sure whether things would be looking right or you have an idea of what it'd be, I always encourage people to go for references. Especially if, say, you're trying to draw a particular person. What shall we do? Shall we start doing them mouth now? Let's merge the eye. Oops. Eyes together. I always fill the main basic colour of the mouth. Up again. Have a nice peachy colour for mouth. I usually get that back. Get the base colour for the darkest colour I can get. Maybe that's a bit too bright there. And I just draw around the mouth. Depending on whether they say have a underbite or something, then maybe the top. I usually do the top lip darker than the bottom because it tends to protrude more and have more of a reflection of more of the light on there. So, alright, let me get a different reference up. Let's get Nosy Lady up. Start with a darkish colour. Oops. And I'll get a layer above and then I'll go on mode. That's a saving grace because you can always, if you're not happy with the way the shading goes, you can always delete it. I use that potato brush again for the mouth. It's potato! Because I always find it has a nice sort of texture for it. Build up on the lighter colours. Just dab, 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 dab. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. Sausages. Sausages. Who would have known potatoes would be good for the lips and for the eyes? Just building up your colour. Tap, 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 tap. Not quite happy with that. The problem is from a reference, you need to make sure you get a better, high quality image, and it's not that simple with Google now. They changed everything. When you're trying to colour pick on the iOS Google, I just get a bit of the dark colour underneath. Just make sure, like the eyes, they have a shiny surface, like a little reflection to help give it. Make it go pop. Let me just erase my outlines just a little bit. Oh, I always spend so long doing these. I know. If you're always not happy with something, you can always find something else. Maybe I'll find one of... I'll get another reference. Pictures of me. Let's go for a brace face me because of my big lips there.
There's baby you there.
Here's baby me. There was a me folder.
You got your braces on there.
Yeah, that was my 19th birthday. Makeup store. Oops. Wrong layer. Hate it when that happens. Maybe I should have done more of a reference picture for the class. This is looking awful.
It's very squarey, isn't it?
That bee's back again. That bee's back again.
Won't we?
It's actually got very dark sort of Vogue lips. I've merged that down. Let me bring up some of the highlights. Maybe that'll help. I'll get the soft round brush. I've always liked doing the soft round brush for highlights. Soft round brush. Yeah, don't be afraid of change. It's when you're trying to do something, it's embrace the mistakes. It's like what Bob Ross used to say, happy little accidents. Just keep working at it. Just undo button is an amazing lifesaver. If you see on my lips as well, I've got like long creases coming down on there. I think it probably was because of those braces. Maybe I'll merge that down just a little bit because maybe as well. I think sometimes when you blur the edge, just you look at people's lips, they do disappear a little bit.
Hi, sweetie.
Well, let's try what Tanchi says. I'm always open for suggestions. Problem is that this skin colour isn't that great. I'm not that confident with trying to make up my own colours. But anyway, maybe I'll move on to something a bit more fun. Maybe I'll do hair is another one of my nemesis. Just merge that down. Sometimes it's good to say I give up, or I'll just walk away from it and then for a while.
Yeah, and come back.
Yeah, sometimes if you, it's so okay to just walk away from it. Just use my hair colour for it. when I do hair, like how I've done everything else, I do a little bit. Let me just find one area I could do. Let me see where I could do some. I know, I'll do a little bit down here. I do a little bit of a base colour. Always build up with layers again with pick a highlighter colour, a lighter colour. I do hair and use a smooth tool and put the opacity up a bit. And I just think like how you brush your hair in the mornings, just how it moves on your hair, where you can do it this route using the smooth tool. Sometimes it's good to give it a bit more control, but if you are a bit lazy like I can get sometimes, in the community that you can use, there are some great brushes in. There's one, like, I think they're both in organic. One is by Artigan, and another one is, I'm not sure if I pronounce it right, Salamahe. I think that's how you say it. Alright, Mimi. Thank you. I actually have my own hairbrush as well in the community, which is obviously called hairbrush, a hairbrush brush. Just erase a little bit of that. Merge it down. Build up your layers. Get a darker colour. Where's my brush? There's my brush. Remember, all low lights. All different kinds of highlights. And then you can also do the smooth tool as well for more wispier ends. Sometimes I do also blur the vector edge as well for hair, just to give it a bit. So it doesn't have such a sharp edge. That's basically it. Maybe I'll show you. Maybe I'll do facial you guys another time. Hair or something. Give her a beard. You're very welcome, Sheridan. Thank you for attending. Right, maybe I should really wrap things up because I was only going to do this for maybe an hour and I am running out of things to say. Yeah, it's about an hour and a quarter. Is there any other questions before I wrap things up? Multicolour brushes would be cool. Number one tip for faces. I guess if you want to get better, just keep practice. I'd say look at also if you're on you use YouTube or go into the classes tab of Sketch Club. Look at Kabuki Boy's portrait class because he's an amazing teacher for this as well. Red Willow's eye class, do that too. Just study. Just stick with those proportion tips that I gave you at the beginning, and that should help you burst along your way. I'd say if you're just starting out doing portraits, then do front facing. That's what I'm most comfortable with. That's where most portrait artists start out, and then just from there develop maybe doing different angles and things. But yeah, just study, practice, and have fun. Let's have fun with it. That's probably another number one tip. If everybody wants me to, I can upload my class tips that had all the different like the different slides, like Mr. Five Eye Man and Miss Miserable, or Miss Who Needs to Go by Sketch Club. Yeah, I'll upload those. And as you guys already know, if you do have any other questions, then my inbox is always open and I'll always be willing to help. I hope I didn't make things too messy, but I knew basically what I was trying to say. Thank you guys. And my stepdad behaved himself.
What's the first?
Can you take this tape off my mouth now?
Well, I think he gave everybody some entertainment as well. Thank you.